into allowing them into their home, because according to demonic legal rights, they're just like attorneys. That makes you wonder where attorneys come from, but they have legal rights. So yeah, so you gotta wonder sometimes, you're like, what? I see parallels here. Yeah, so they claim that you have to be inviting them in some way for them to come into your home. But that's not always the case from what I've seen, but it's a common theory. So a lot of the clients and family members that I deal with are going through severe emotional, dysfunctional issues, like we mentioned before, depression, suicidal thoughts. I wanted to go into demonic hallucinations, and one of the cases we'll talk about just a little bit too. There was that case on Discovery Channel's A Haunting that was titled Blood Visions, and it was because he was actually having demonic hallucinations. They're actually able to make you see and hear certain things. And he actually had a DSM-4, now we're on to the DSM-5 I think, but he had a psych evaluation, and they're like, he's fine, he's not mentally, there's literally nothing wrong with him. But for 3 days, everything that was like water in content, he would actually see as blood, as crazy as that sounds. And he would also hear screaming, stuff like that, when people were trying to talk to him, and it isolated him a lot and made himself question himself and his sanity, so it was very disturbing for him to go through. After the house blessing was complete, nothing bad happened, and it was over with, he was fine. So sometimes with the physical stuff, you're going to see scratches, burns, choking, slapping, punching. One of the cases, the husband and wife were trying to sleep at night, and they would get punching through the mattress. Because the entity doesn't want you to bond with your loved one. It wants to separate you. So the wife would actually go downstairs and sleep on the couch. And as long as they were apart from each other, they wouldn't experience, punching and attacks like that. It was very interesting. And we had mentioned lifestyle issues like divorce and disease and stuff like that as well too. So yeah, I wasn't brought up to really like believe in demons, stuff like that. It was my line of work in the paranormal led me to these severe cases, because the more often you're investigating, you're trying to perform house blessings, the more likely you are to encounter these types of things. So I would honestly say out of 80 some odd house blessings, probably 90 something now, I've lost track, probably 10 to 15% of those were like legitimate, bonafide demonic hauntings. There are severe human hauntings too, where a human spirit can harm people, but there's different ways of discerning between them, and you can kind of tell, like, at least when I walk into a house, I can just tell, and usually I'll have those visions beforehand to kind of help give me a clue if we're dealing with something inhuman or human. Okay, and I already talked about that, perfect, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the first really messed up case, just to disturb you guys. So, this is actually in Taylor, Michigan. I've actually had a lot of cases around in Detroit. Some people think a lot of hauntings are amplified or occur more often where there's areas of waters, like Louisiana, Michigan, you got some of the East Coast, that Old World area. I have seen a correlation with that, like when there's water nearby, or lakes, or rivers, or underground stuff, or quartz, limestone, sandstone, stuff like that. It seems to amplify that. I want to mention real quick too, there's actually science behind what I'm doing now, which is really cool. A colleague, Dan Smith, and I actually might be doing a television show. I've turned down like a bazillion because they're always like, okay, let's watch you in a bikini and do paranormal stuff. We're not doing that. Terrible idea. Right, thank you. Yeah, like that's going against everything we're trying to build here, integrity-wise.